Hello, how are you? I'm just trying to find the video. I like to see that I am actually live where I'm supposed to be live. Um, Tell me where you're from and where are you watching? Let me mute this because I know it's going to be. Um, Let me put this right here. Hopefully, that I can see your comments. So tell me, you guys, where are you watching from? Um, I always get asked like questions about wreath making. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to come on here and answer any questions that anybody might have on wreath making. Why is my phone not standing up? Let's try it this way. So um, let me know if you have any questions about wreath making, wreath selling. So one of the things I do in our wreath making of the month club group is we do a Q&A, and they can submit questions or they can ask me on the fly in the video if there are any questions that they might have on trying to improve their designs. So, y'all, okay, wreath making is something I honestly feel anybody can learn. Now, I have not had any official training. I don't have any like florist initials behind my name. I have been doing this for my own home for many, many years. And so it, a lot of times people will say, "You just make it look so easy." And I'm like, "Well, I have been doing this for many, many years." I feel like if you want to be perfect, I mean, not even perfect, that's not even a good thing, a good word. If you want to be polished, how about that? Or you want to be, improve your designs. It takes time, it takes practice, but also it takes some understanding, some basic florist um, elements and principles to design. So some basic floral designing techniques have, I feel, helped me to elevate my designs to the next level. Um, if you're making for your own home, you just make and keep making until you love it. And you can make wreaths and arrangements and home decor um, for any season or any holiday. You do it for you. Does that make sense? You make yourself happy. And then if you're trying to elevate it to the next level, let's say, for example, you want to do craft shows or you want to do it, do Etsy shop or something like that. You can still keep going and keep going and you keep practicing until it just becomes a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. I don't feel like anybody has to be perfect in order to either make a business of this or to make somebody else happy. Because I feel like you can really use wreath making in so many different ways. You can use wreath making, like I said, to improve your home. You could use wreath making to gift to somebody to improve their day. Maybe somebody is, sick at home or in the hospital or had a new baby or graduation or going to college. I mean, you can always make your wreaths and arrangements and gift them. That improves people's lives right there. You're improving your life because you're crafting. Y'all know the benefits of using your hands and improving your mental capacity with using your hands. Not to mention, it gives you an outlet, an escape from life. It's, to me, it's a stress reliever whenever I craft. So it's benefit for you, and it's also a benefit if you want to gift them. Or for me, even I used to donate my items. I still do donate to a charity of my call, my liking. So, for example, if we have a kid in our community who is suffering. He was in a car accident and he needed, they need some assistance with their medical bills. If I want to donate something to their silent auction, I'm now helping a cause that's beneficial to them, but it makes me, it just makes me feel good when I'm able to help the community with my God given talent. I don't know, it's hard to put into words when you can make a difference in people's lives with what God gives you with your hands. I mean, you know what I mean? The other thing too is we've got a lot of people in our Wreath of the Month Club group too are trying to sell. So we always are trying to give craft show tips, selling on Etsy tips, selling in florist shops, tips and things like that to try to encourage them and educate them on ways that we have learned over the many years that we've been doing this. So I thought this would be good if we just did our Q&A here, if we did a Q&A here. So let me know if there are any questions. I did a custom Alzheimer's wreath with fabric, but made my sister a flip-flop wreath. So so Deanna is definitely using her God-given talents for this. When making a lantern, does the price you charge include the lantern? No, Kathy, the price that we charge does not include the lantern. I mean, to ship a lantern with glass and all that, we can't. So there's just no way we could do that. Want to try to doing an unfinished wood to my football wreaths fabric. Want to try doing unfinished wood to my football wreaths fabric. I'm not sure if that's a question. I can't understand that question. If you're going to add unfinished wood to your wreaths, let's see. Hello from New Jersey. How do you figure out how much to charge if you are selling? So if you are selling, one of the things we offer, and let me know if y'all want to look inside of our Wreath of the Month Club group. That's one of the things I was going to show y'all. We have a spreadsheet that you can download in our Wreath Making of the Month Club group, and it does go through all of this pricing for you. But just a general rule, I would say take your cost times 3. So like whatever you put into your wreath times 3. And what that will include, it will give you enough of a cushion to cover, obviously, the cost of the wreath, but also to give you enough if you are going to pay for any other expenses. Number one, your salary. I mean, you should pay yourself if you're selling. I mean, how many is anybody here, like when they first got started, that they just underpriced and they really didn't pay themselves anything? I made that mistake my first year, and I hope I'm educating enough people that they don't make that same mistake. When I first started, I put a lot of time and effort away from my family, and it went all back into growing my business, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But in hindsight, looking back, I would have been happier and less frustrated if I had taken the time then to just pay myself. And every artisan should be paid for what they're making, no matter what they're making. So if you're making your wreaths or your arrangements, you definitely should be paid for that. Now you decide what that pay should be. On the general scale, florists typically charge around 20%, 30 maybe if they're a very high end, very experienced and designer. But I would say 20% is a good rule of thumb to start with. Paying yourself 20% of that, just to go back to the family. You definitely want to keep your expenses separate. So if you're doing a wreath business and you're doing, your family income, I don't like mixing those two because it's hard to analyze. It's hard to do taxes at the end of the year. And so I always say, keep everything separate. Then whenever you pay yourself, you just move money from one account to the other, to the family account to pay yourself. It's just going to make it a lot easier. You also know how well you're doing or where you need to, make adjustments for your business account, if that makes sense. Because if you're putting all the things together in your family account, you can't figure out what's what and what month was sales really good. It's kind of hard to keep track of that. So the other thing that cost times 3, just a general, will also include any expenses that you might have, like Etsy fees, gas, trying to find supplies and things like that. Let me see if there were any other questions that we say. Good morning from Nashville in Alabama. Wow. How do you find places to sell your wreaths? So Stephanie, if you don't want to sell online at Etsy, you can do craft shows. I also suggest that anybody who does want to do craft shows to look way outside of your community. A lot of times people will say that they can't get the craft shows that they need in order to make the money for selling, and it's because they're not looking outside of their own town. You've got to go bigger. Okay, so what's the next biggest town close to you, and look for craft shows there. If you're trying to find places in your area, reach out to florists. A lot of times florists will have a place that they can go in, and not all of them, but some of them will have a little boutique area where people could come in and order flowers. Well, there's also some pre-made things that they want, but they get overwhelmed, especially during like Valentine's Day, fall and Christmas. They'll start getting all of their orders in, and they won't have enough time to make their pre-made items in order to sell them in their shop section of the florist. So you could reach out to florists, you could reach out to any consignment shops and see if they want to consign for you. So there's places that you can look for that are local, that will help you to display your wreaths. Do you have any tutorials based on specific grapevines? What does that mean? Specific grapevines. So we do have tutorials in our Wreath of the Month Club group, and they are sorted out by evergreen, grapevine, foam, straw, things like that, if that's what you're asking. But we do all types of grapevines. We do divided grapevines. We do crescent-shaped grapevines. We anything under the sun with wreaths, we do that, and it's all located inside of our portal all ready for you guys to start watching. Okay, here's a question on Etsy. I have a Etsy shop, and my sales are very slow. What can I do to improve my sales? All right, here's the thing, Angelina, with Etsy. First of all, Etsy, in my opinion, works when we work it. And that means for me, we've noticed a significant increase, I want to say the past 3 months. And what we're doing is we're listing something every day. I know a lot of people are like, what? Yeah, you have to work it like a business. If you're on Etsy for Etsy to work for you, you have to treat it like a business. So you have to list something every day. For me, it's either something new or maybe I'm renewing an older listing. So listing something every day. Number two, you probably before you start listing, you really need to understand like keywords. So for example, we make fall wreaths. And if you go to Etsy and search fall wreaths, it's going to come back hundreds of thousands of views, right? And you're going to get lost in the sea of all of that search. The other thing that Etsy does is it will take a word like wreaths, and it will show even jewelry that has wreaths in it. Anything with the word wreaths in it, Etsy's going to just throw it at the shopper. So you have to be very specific, because that's what the shopper's going to do. The buyer's going to go to Etsy and they're going to go, holy cow, fall wreaths. Okay, really, I want a cream colored pumpkin fall wreath, and I want it to go on the front door. And that's what they're going to put in there on the search box for Etsy. Cream pumpkin fall wreath for front door. And then it's going to now give them a more specific, narrowed down search. And from there, they're going to change the price from high to low, because they're going to change the price from high to low so that they know that anything priced too low is going to be cheap. So they don't want to look at it. So they're going to price it from high to low. And this is why I tell all of our members and all of our groups, you cannot underprice yourself, because then it will hurt your sales. If you've got really pretty designs and you know that they are worth people buying, if you price too low, they will not buy, because that's what the shopper does. They'll price high to low to knock out all of the cheap items. And I know you're probably thinking, well, my items are not cheap. They're good quality. But if you price them at a cheap price, that's in their mentally, they think it's not good quality. I don't know if anybody shops like that, but I shop like that. I mean, if I'm looking for a pair of jeans or a home decor or, a watch or anything like that, I want to sort high to low. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to my price range that I want to spend. So now if I can get to the price range where I want to spend, I go through those items. So if you have these over the top designs and you're only selling them for $80 and your ideal customer is willing to pay $200 to $100 for that same item, you're not going to be seen because you've priced yourself too low. So it does take time to get to there. Your pictures have to be on point, remembering the sea of designs that I was talking to you about. If they don't pop off the screen and be able to click, then you won't be able to your pictures have to be click worthy is what I'm saying. We do have in our Wreath of the Month Club group, we have a whole training on Etsy and getting started available to our members. So just wanted to put that out there. I want to up my Etsy selling game and make my random selling a hobby and gift wreath arrangements, making it into a business. Is your business group the place for that? I've been in the Wreath of the Month Club for over a year and a half and I am ready. Yes, Jessica, we do in our business group, Julie's Success Circle, we only focus on selling, but we do also answer any selling questions in the Wreath of the Month Club. How do you have discipline in buying supplies? Well, we have not mastered that. I'm just saying, I will be very honest. That is hard. Budget. That's all I can say is budget. If you're a little more diligent about budgeting on so what you would do is you would say, okay, what did I sell last year? I'm going to increase those by 20%. What was the cost of that? Increase that by 20%. That's my budget for this year. I mean, you can definitely do something a little bit more in-depth and detailed by that, but budgeting is the key to not overspending. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've not mastered it. My whole warehouse will show that. Would you charge what you got the materials on sale? Oh, great question. So you charge what you paid. No, sorry, you would not. So the question is, if you charge your expenses, you're trying to add up your expenses for what you paid in a wreath. I don't do the sale price. The sale price is because what if that customer wants you to come back and remake something different or you get another order for it? Well, you can't charge that same price because you got it on sale. So you want to charge full price. Overstuffing and underpricing is a problem for me. So one of the things I do teach in our Wreath of the Month Club group is to know when to stop. Does anybody else have a problem with that? Like they just don't know when enough is enough. And I am constantly, when I am designing, especially when I am doing freestyle, which means I'm going to my supplies and I'm going to make a design for them. And I'm going to explain to them what color was I looking at? What was my inspiration for starting the design? And then how do I lay out? What is my process for laying out the design on the wreath? And then at what point do I know enough is enough? So you know enough is enough is when you go to add something to your wreath and it doesn't add to the overall design. So if you're adding something and you step back and you're like, I can't see that, don't put it in. Is that enhancing a design or is that not enhancing the design? If it doesn't enhance the design, don't put it in. Debbie says, is there a formula for exactly how many bundles are needed to make various size wreaths? So one of the things that we do in our Wreath of the Month Club group, we will provide an opportunity for a kit. Like tonight, we're going to be making a wreath and it's going to be a kit. So that to me is a formula, okay? And not every wreath that we do is like that, but majority of the wreaths we do in our Wreath of the Month Club have a kit so that you could go purchase and have an opportunity to duplicate the exact same wreath that I make. Now, in that is a recipe, and so you can look at that and go, it's got 1 greenery, it's got 3 focal flowers, it's got 5 filler flowers, it's got a 2.5-inch ribbon, a 1.5-inch ribbon, and you can determine what is needed in order to duplicate that wreath on your own. And a lot of times too, if you're making various sizes, it is a trial and error, meaning if I make a wreath that's 24-inch and I'm like, okay, I want to now make one that's 14 inches, you make it. You make it. Just go make it. And that way now you list it on Etsy that you can make a 24-inch wreath and you can make a 14-inch wreath, and you know exactly what the cost is. Hopefully that helps. God bless you too. Thanks for following. Let's see. How do you create a listing and share it to multiple platforms? So Etsy, Nextdoor, Facebook. So for me, I like to do it on my app. I can't share my app here, but you just you go to your Etsy listings. I'm just going to choose my cream fall pumpkin wreath. I'm just opening up my listing in Etsy as if I'm going to edit it. And then at the very bottom right, there's a share. I'm just going to click that. All right, so now I can share, right? And I'm going to click share in the top right. Share. And then I'm going to click copy. And what that's going to do is it's now going to give me a link to that listing. Hopefully that helps. Where can you get the machine used to attach picks and flowers? I got mine off of Amazon. So you just go to Amazon and search steel pick machine. I'm forewarning you, it's a pricey one. It's a pricey one. To me, it's an investment, right? So when I get started, and I will be the first one to tell you, you don't need all the things to get started. You really don't. You might need a hot glue gun. You probably need some wire cutters. You need scissors. What else? Other than that, you could get started with that. So you don't need all the things, okay? So I don't want anybody to think, when you see me making, you know that I'm doing this as a full-time business, and I have had the years in order to invest in my shop and my tools. I would like to know more about the Wreath of the Month Club. Okay, so let me give you just a quick look around. So when you join our Wreath of the Month Club group, you're going to get a welcome packet, and it's going to show you exactly what you need to do in order to log in to our course. Once you log in, you're going to have this little button that you click on. And once you click on it, it's going to open up what we call our portal. And this is where all of our information is stored for the Wreath of the Month Club. So we've got a little welcome. It tells you the calendar, what to look forward to, how to sign up for our text alerts, and how to join our Facebook group if you want to do Facebook. You don't need Facebook in order to participate in our Wreath of the Month Club, but that is where the community is. Then we go through our 5 F's. So I am outlining our courses so that there are 5 F's to help every wreath maker or designer to get started. So we've got the foundations. So what is that exactly? Foundations are like, if you have never made a wreath before, what do we need? And we talked about tools here, some of the specifics. What are the mechanics? So if you go through mechanics are anything that holds your wreath together. Wire, picks, glue. We go through the tools. We go through picks, wire. We go through the gauges of wires, the wreath itself. We go through all of that. So even if you've never made a wreath before, we explain every little thing, the elements needed for a wreath. We go through all of that, flowers, the ribbon, the greenery, mesh, ornaments. How do you set up a workstation? So for me, I don't know about y'all, but I started on my kitchen table. I didn't have an official workstation. So I help you to establish some things that might assist you no matter what level you're at, no matter where you're starting. And then of course, I give you a whole list of all my tools that I use. Then we go to fundamentals. For me, Fundamentals is understanding some of the basics in floral designing. So we go through like bow making. Typically, that's where people start. They want to learn to make bows. So we've got bow making tutorials. The elements of wreath making, I go through why it's important to understand that and how to incorporate into a wreath. We have the principles and elements of wreath making, and then color theory. So a lot of times people are like, I don't understand color. I don't know how to coordinate things together. So we go through all of this inside of our portal, understanding what the colors are, how to choose them, and also understanding the color wheel. We give you a whole chart. So we've already done all of the color coordinating for you. And so you can download our color chart and have access to this so that to help you when you go shopping. Coordinating ribbon and colors, we've got all of that. Choosing flowers, our 3 S's of greenery to help you choose your greenery and things to look for when you're choosing greenery. I know a lot of times people get stuck on what greenery should I choose for summer or winter, or what greenery needs to be the foundation and what greenery needs to be the filler, what greenery should be the texture. And so we go through all of that. We also talk about prepping a container. Just the fundamentals to me are like the just understanding the basics of floral designing. Focus is, if you click on focus, it's going to take you through learning about the various wreath bases. So if you're looking for deco mesh, grapevine, evergreen, straw wreaths, hoop wreaths. Now, what this will do is it will give you, like, I feel, our best wreath for that, to understand it. But then if you click on our video library, that's what's going to open up our 400 videos available to you. We always put our top videos up here that we're doing this month. But look, if you go down, we have them all sorted for you. So if you were looking for, fall, you just click on that and you can find our fall wreaths. If you click on Halloween, we have our Halloween wreaths. We have them by type too. So like, for example, if you're looking for a garland tutorial, we have Christmas garlands, spring garlands. I teach you how to make my Christmas garland, my fall garland. I mean, this was a kit that we provided to our members. And so we have all of it all broken down for you that way. But then the other thing that you can do is you can search in here. So for example, let's say, for example, you want to make a sunflower wreath and you're like, I need a tutorial for a sunflower. You just type in the word sunflower and it's going to bring up all of our tutorials that we offer inside our Wreath of the Month Club that includes sunflowers. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. And then the other one is, let's say, for example, you want to do, oh, wait, let me go back. You want to do hydrangea, it's the same thing. But let's say, for example, you're looking for a specific month. Let's say you were busy last month and you didn't get to do, look at some of the tutorials. You knew I did something that you were interested in. All you have to do is click on August 2022 and it brings up all of the tutorials. So you can see these are the ones that we did last month. Can y'all believe we're in September? So we do our hot seat wreath critiques. We talked about Christmas tree lights. We did a Halloween set, review Q&A, like what I'm doing here, answering questions. Here's our Halloween swag. We did a sunflower. We did an arrangement. We did a wreath. We did this beautiful scarecrow. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we did 10 tutorials last month for our Wreath Making of the Month Club. So let me go back one more time. So Wreath Making of the Month Club portal. So you can see this is the download button. So let's say, for example, today we're doing a featured wreath, which includes a kit. And anybody who wants to save that video so that they can access it even after they leave Wreath of the Month Club, they come here and download this. And when you download it, this is probably going to have last month's featured wreath. This was last month's featured wreath. It will have all of the supplies used, all of the tools, what the inspiration is, and then give you a link in order to go buy the kit, as well as watch the video with a password. So you can keep all of these feature tutorials and keep them in a booklet or on your computer. So you do have something to take with you even after you've left us. And then if you are not on Facebook and you want to watch live, we have the Join Julie Live, and you'll be able to stream the videos right through our portal online. So you don't have to be a participant of Facebook group, but you can still see our tutorials and how we teach. The other thing that we have are resources. So we give a lot of bonuses that I am super proud of. We have our big book of florals suppliers. So if you are looking for wholesale grapevines or you're looking for the best place to buy ribbon, we have all of this in here. I don't even know how many pages it is. It is over 60 pages. Okay. So we give you all of the contact information, the websites to go to, why I choose to use them. So that's there. We also have our big book of our flower diary, which I'm super excited about. A lot of times people don't know about flowers and what their types are. And so let me get to a couple of these. So we have them broken out, like what flowers you use for what seasons. And then also if you're looking for a specific flower, you'll hear me talk about allium. Well, you can see what allium is and when do you use it and how do you use it in your designs. So we talk to you about when to use it and how to use it. So we've just got them all broken down. And this goes all the way to Z and over. So this is 65 pages as well. What is the Z? I just want to see. Oh, we've got yarrow and zinnias in there. So I love that. To me, I use it. It's a glossary for me, and I think it's a very useful tip. So anytime I find anything I need in my own business, I make it and give it to our members. So that's resources for making, but we also have wreath selling resources. So let's say, for example, you need to make a custom order for somebody and you don't know what questions to ask. We've got them all written here for you. You print this out and it's going to ask, you're going to be able to say, hey, what occasion is your wreath for? What colors do you want? What flowers do you want? And you can start writing a little order form for them. Put your date of delivery. You can have a little area to sketch if you need that. And so just download it. We've already made it for you. We've also given templates to use on Canva. How to price wreaths for sale was something we talked about earlier. So you can download that spreadsheet. 1,000 keywords for Etsy sellers. Like if you're like, I don't know what keywords to use, and I've got a summer wreath or a sunflower garland, how do I word that? So we've got all of these for you right there for Etsy. Let me go back and see if there are any other ones that probably would be if you're getting started with Etsy right here, if you don't know what to insert in your package for care card instructions, it's all there. We've got some Instagram tips. These are just like frequently asked questions and bow making masterclass replays. If you have missed one for August, March, or we've got them all right here for you. So we do give a lot of resources. I mean, that's inside the portal. Thanks for asking. We're open right now to for accepting new members into our Wreath of the Month Club. We're going to close the doors tomorrow. It's $27 a month. We've got that whole portal open for you for all of the education and training you need to get started, as well as level up any designs that you have, if you're already started and you just want to level up to the next level. So we've got that, and we've got our wonderful community of Facebook followers. A Facebook community of people who are just there to like support us and lift us up. And some people have been in our Wreath of the Month Club for over 3 years. And so they're very versed, and where they get signs and where they get ribbon. And they're very versed in saying, I would move the bow up a little bit or down a little bit. So we have that. They're just, we've got people who pray for each other. It's just a lot of bonding, a lot of long-term friendships, believe it or not, have started in our Wreath Making of the Month Club. And I am so proud of that. I'm very protective of that too. So we've got that. And then we've also got the Q&A like we do here and our wreath critique. So those are all the things that we do every month in our Wreath of the Month Club. I really just want everybody to find their joy in wreath making, whether that be selling, making for your home, gifting, just to have fun with it. One question, trying to remember the website for greenery. Is it Greenery Market maybe that you're looking for? Where do we get boxes? I would go to boxes.com. That's where I buy mine. You can get Uline if you want, but they require a lot to, their shipping is a little pricey, and also they require you to buy in specific bundles. If you are in our Wreath of the Month Club, don't forget you do get a discount on our business group. You get a discount if you're in both. I make wreaths and arrangements for a hobby and occasionally sell them. I would like to start a business, but do not want to have to make things and feel pressured. How many designs do you do a day for your business? So to me, honestly, you're saying two things. I want to have a business, but I don't want to work. This is the way I look at it. I think, and this is my own teaching, and I have to remind my own self, I want a business that fits in my life, right? It can be done. Okay. So if you want to make things and not feel pressure to sell, don't feel pressure to sell. You're the only one putting the pressure on yourself, nobody else. So for me, that's like your mind. You have to convince yourself not to be pressured. But if you do want to sell, you've got to take action. You've got to get the word out. So who do you want to sell to, and how are they going to know you're selling in order to contact you? That's where the effort comes in for making it a business. So you're going to have to, tell your friends and family, make little cards or have an open house. I mean, in my opinion, that if you're an extrovert, that is like the best thing I think I would do. Like I would just make all the pretty things for my home and then open the doors for an open house and serve appetizers and some beverages and mingle and then sell the designs. I mean, there's ways of doing it. You just have to make it fit with yourself. Okay. We don't have any in-person workshops planned yet. That was one of the goals to do. So we don't have it done. We haven't. No, that's the answer of no. All right, let's see. I have legalities done for her business. I think I'm ready to make an Etsy page, but I haven't made a business cards or bought boxes. Should I get this done first? I don't think so. I think I've spent so much time the last years building supplies and tools. I don't think so. I think just start. In my opinion, I would start. You sell something, then you reach out to us and go, where do I get boxes? How do I put it in there? What's the best way to ship? I mean, you can learn all that now if you want to, but I feel like maybe you're like me a little bit. You feel like you need to do a lot of learning and it takes you a little longer to actually take action to do it. In all honesty, you can watch and learn on videos, but it doesn't actually sink in and comprehend until you take action. I don't know if y'all probably have seen me make a ton of bows and a ton of wreaths online, but until you actually go to implement it yourself is when you actually start getting it. And so it's the same thing with business. So I say start your business start your Etsy shop, figure it out as you go. Now is the best time, by the way, to start on Etsy because we are in wreath season. People are buying wreaths. I work in my garage and I do keep flowers in there. Do I need to cover them so they don't get dusty? So sometimes I put my, I don't do it, but you could if you want. I put them in those trash cans and they stand straight up, and then I could put a clear trash bag over that to keep them from dust. And then if I keep them on a shelf, I would put them in a clear container. So, you know, you could do that if you wanted to, but I don't. Ours in our warehouse are open and they're not. How do you get people to buy when they have items in their cart in your Etsy shop? You can create a coupon that's called abandoned cart. So you go under Etsy dashboard marketing, create a sale, and then it's going to be create a coupon, and you're looking for abandoned cart. So that way, people who have your items in their cart and they haven't pulled the trigger to purchase, you could send them a coupon that gets them motivated to do that. How do you know what kind of flower clashes with another kind of flower? That comes to color theory. So understanding color theory, understanding what coordinates and what contrasts, to me has been a huge help. I calculate the ribbon I used with a formula, but calculating different ribbons for tails and bows is very time consuming. Is there a better way? So when I'm doing my wreaths, if I've used half the roll of ribbon, I don't sometimes do all of that calculations. I just say, okay, I used half the roll, so I'm going to use half that price. If I've used more than half, I charge the whole price of the roll, because if I've used enough ribbon in a roll that I know I can't make a full bow, which takes 5 yards, then I charge the customer the full price of the roll. Oh, how do you join? You guys go to learntowreath.com. Okay. So let me show you. If you just go to learntowreath.com, it's going to take you to where you can join us. You just click that little sign up and it'll get you started with us. So learntowreath.com. I don't think I can add a post. Maybe. Does that show up? Maybe that shows up. Learntowreath.com. I don't see if it showed up in the comments. Oh, there it goes. Well, I was going to pin it, but it's not working. Learntowreath.com. Are you doing a swag or an arrangement in the Wreath of the Month Club tonight? Tonight we're doing a wreath, a neutral wreath, neutral fall wreath. Y'all, that is a big trend on Etsy for those who sell. Yes, we do have an excellent video on shipping. We also teach you like how to ship. Like, how do you know what price to ship if you've never sold something to California? How do you know what to charge? What glue temperature do I use on my glue pan? If it's the same glue pan I use, I can't tell you until I know like how much glue are you putting in. So I'm always fluctuating between 3 and 350 for my glue pan. And it just depends on how much glue is in the pan. So put your glue in and turn it on to 250. And if it doesn't look like honey, then you turn it up to, say, 300 and test it again. You need to let it sit and get heated for at least 20 minutes and then check the consistency. You just keep checking the consistency. If it doesn't look like honey, it's too thick, you turn the temperature up. If it's too runny and it doesn't look like honey, then you turn the temperature down. You are so welcome. Yeah, you guys don't need business cards all the time. So it depends on where you're trying to make your sales. So for me on Etsy, I don't do business cards. But if I'm trying to sell to somebody in local, I'm trying to get the word out local, then you're going to want something to quickly hand out. The Wreath of the Month Club is $27, recurring monthly. You can cancel anytime. Somebody asked how much that was. Absolutely love the beautiful wreaths everyone makes. So amazing, talented, blessed ladies. Julie, you're truly gift. Oh, well, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Marina. That was awesome. Let's see. You can use eRank. Somebody said that they use eRank for keywords. I just use Etsy. Like if I'm going to share my screen again. If I go to Etsy, let me spell it right. And remember, I said I'm looking for, what do we want to look for? Cream, pumpkin, fall. Okay, so cream, pumpkin, wreath. So do you see how Etsy suggests these words right here? That's how you know it's something that people search on. Let's see. What else? What else? What else? Elf, Christmas wreath. So people do search for elf Christmas wreath, a fall wreath with bow. People search for that. Fall wreath with pumpkins, fall wreath with truck, with ribbon, with sunflowers, with gnome, with monogram, with no grapevine. I mean, you get your keywords right here. So you don't need to necessarily pay for something else in order to find it. It's all right there within Etsy. I have been with Julie since the spring and I continue to learn something every day. Thank you, Shelly. Wreath of the Month Club has been invaluable, totally elevated. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Confidence is everything. When you're making, when you're selling, I mean, to me, first of all, there's a lot of fear. Has anybody noticed that there's a lot of fear involved with when you go to make a wreath or when you go to start something new? I want you to know that you're not alone in that. Okay. Just accept the fact that that's fear and it's not of God. So you can be afraid, but you need to do it anyway. I mean, we spend money on ribbon, but sometimes I hear people that are afraid to cut it. And I'm like, but what if you make something amazing? Like, what if there's something spectacular that you're going to create? And now you're not even starting by cutting the ribbon. You have to overcome the fear by doing it. That's the only way. And as you continue to overcome fear over fear over fear, your confidence level will build. When you're more confident, you definitely create easier and you also sell better because people like to buy from someone who's confident, right? And confidence comes from doing. Overcoming fear comes with just doing and implementing it. So I know somebody here is probably thinking that I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know if I should do an Etsy shop because I'm scared. I don't know if I can ship that wreath because I'm scared. I don't know if I can, buy those supplies because I'm scared. I'm here to tell you from start to now, the fear does not go away. It just gets different. So when I was first starting, my fear was putting money into the supplies with the risk of selling. Does that make sense? So we didn't have a lot of money when I first started. I mean, me taking $500 as an investment into my business, that's it. All I did to get started, y'all, was $500. And I was committed to knowing that I'm going to turn this $500 into something somehow. And so I would go buy supplies. And now I wouldn't just pick whatever I liked. I went in with a purpose, knowing exactly what that wreath design is going to be and purchased only for that wreath. So I went in and I bought items to make 3 or 4 wreaths. And then I came back to the shop and I made them. Now, when you make a wreath, how you have little leftovers. So I made sure that what my leftovers were going to be, we're going to coordinate with each other. So if I went and bought supplies to say, let's say, for example, you go to Hobby Lobby or wherever you want to buy supplies and you get enough for 3 wreaths. You need to know that those leftovers of those 3 wreaths are going to have leftovers and they need to coordinate with each other, because a lot of times you can get 2 more wreaths or more out of the leftovers. You can get other bows. You can make more than what you think. So use your leftovers. Then what happens is I would price right. I would sell that 1 wreath and I would have made up, almost everything I've purchased in supplies. And it took me a while to get over that mentality of, okay, what I'm buying here, I just had to know that I'm going to make my money back. You just need to believe in yourself. You need to believe that you have everything. You have the knowledge. You have the people supporting you. I mean, here we're supporting you. Our wreath making community supports you. We answer questions. We're doing that right now for you. You just need to believe in yourself. And then as you grow, that fear goes away. And then you might have the fear of, okay, I'm listing on Etsy, and that fear goes away. And then you might have fear of, I don't know, whatever the next step and next level for you is. Maybe you're doing an in-person class at your church and you've never done it before. There's fear. But once you get started, it becomes fun. And then you're like, I can't wait for the next one. Maybe it's your first Facebook Live. Right? There's always a little bit of fear in business. Maybe it's starting your Etsy shop, or maybe it's starting your email list and you don't know, you're not good with technology. So no matter what level you're at as a maker, whether it's for your home, to gift as a person, cutting that stem, it's fear and you're not alone. Okay. The only way to overcome fear is to walk through it. If you're going to start to sell your wreaths, what kind of packaging do you need? A box. You need a box with a 32-pound crush test on it. And so you're going to want to make sure that it's a shipping box. The Wreath of the Month Club is about wreath making, and we've got wreath selling in there and support a community all about wreath making. We do flower arrangements. So if you go and I was going to see if we can show you, if you're looking for any flower arrangements, we also have that in our library. You're just going to click on video library and that will take you to where you can sort. So we're going to look by type and we're going to look under arrangements, and you can see that we have these are some of the arrangements that we did. I love this one. This is a fall. In my opinion, it's a home decor piece that's really pretty. Woo. We did, there's that one. This one is my favorite of all that I've made. Now, this one is a little more advanced. So I do a little more advanced and some that is a little less advanced, beginner level. But this one was one that we made. And then this one, I think that one was on the portal. I mean, not in the portal. This was Pinterest TV. Hold on. Let me try to find the Wreath of the Month Club ones. Here is a sunflower one. Here's another one we did. That's like a rustic one. But these, like this one is pretty. That's on my buffet. Another asymmetrical. This one is a container that you drop in outside. You drop this in your planter and you got something for outdoors. We made little wine things too. I mean, these are just some of the arrangements that we've done. Here's another one. Here's another fall planter idea that we did. So here's one that I used on my fall mantle last year. So you get to see me do arrangements as well. In the portal. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. It asked me if I wanted to join the other group. What do you teach in the second group? Okay, so it might ask you if you want to go ahead and join the business group, because you save money if you buy them together. You can say no thanks. So the Wreath of the Month Club is the 27, and if you join the business group, it's also a discounted at less, $10 less. So you have that option to do the business group at that point. But if you don't want to do the business group, you don't have to. You can do that later. I wanted to start selling. Do I need to get a tax ID? Okay, I'm going to be very honest. I think that you should reach out to your state and find out what the rules and regulations are for your state. Sometimes there's a threshold for what you're selling. You don't need any of that for getting started on Etsy, but you might want to check your state to see what is required. Oh, Kelly, yay! Awesome, awesome. Where do you sell the best? I've always been a lazy business person. What does that mean? It means that I have the drive and I have the will to learn, and but I'm trying to think about doing it with the, in other words, using the best amount of my time. Does that make sense? Like immediately when I knew I was getting into business, I knew that craft shows were not going to be for me. Number one, it takes a lot of effort to make all the things and find the right craft shows that are going to be for you, that make you successful when you're there. You got to talk to people, which I don't talk to people very well. I'm an introvert. Now I can talk to people when I need to. I'm not like that, but it's not something I find like to do it all the time would not be fun for me. So I would find something that works for you. I also so I knew Etsy selling online was the best thing for me because I can work when I want to work, and I can make three if I want to make three, or I can make 30 if I want to make 30. And when you go to a craft show, you got to make 30 or more. I mean, you just got to you got to come with more than you expect to sell. And, so to me, when I list something on Etsy, it's 20 cents. When I sign up for a craft show, you're going to have to pay, to get into the craft show. So, um, I don't know if that helps you, but to me, I like Etsy. So somebody was so if you're trying to sell, so she's shipping, a 20 by 20 by 8 is wrong. That should not be $49. Hold on, let me figure out what I just did. There we go. It should not be $49. So one of the things you can go to is something called Shippo or ShipStation and get a discount on shipping. Thank you. Thanks. You could go to Shippo or ShipStation. There's also Parcel Path. There's a third party that you can purchase your labels from. So what happens is when you go to these places, they get like a bundled discount. That's the only way I know how to word it. I'm sure it's way more technical than that. So all of these people might come to say ShipStation. Well, ShipStation has negotiated rates, and so they can offer the discounted bulk rate. Like when you go to Sam's Club and you get the bulk cereal, it's way cheaper than if you go to the grocery store and buy one box of cereal. It's the same thing. So there's these companies out there that are third party. Some are free, like Shippo's free. Some integrate with Etsy. Shippo integrates with Etsy. There's some that it costs money, like I pay for ShipStation. ShipStation does integrate with Etsy. So there are ways in order for you to save money with that. Let's see if I missed any other questions. We do not have, somebody's asking for coupons. We do not have any coupons for Wreath of the Month Club. Welcome, Lisa. I'm excited to be working with you closer inside of our community. Do you connect something into your wreaths to remind customers who they purchased the wreath from? Absolutely. Absolutely. We put a flyer in our boxes, and we also give them a coupon in order to make their next purchase with us. We tell them to get the coupon, they need to join our mailing list. So then when say we're having our Labor Day sale this weekend, now I have them on my mailing list. I can send an email to them and say, welcome to the end of summer. We're here to help you decorate for fall. We've got all of our fall wreaths on sale. Make sure to come and join us and use your coupon. So now you're taking that relationship to the next level. It's something that you can develop. It's a lot less effort to sell to somebody who's already taken the time to buy from you. So absolutely, you want to include something for them. Yay, Penny's joining us. Awesome. I'm glad you were in the masterclass. Do you sell from your website or only Etsy? Jill, I only sell on Etsy. So here's the situation. When you sell on your website, you are 100% in charge of driving your buyers to your website. Um, when you sell on Etsy, it's a marketplace, and Etsy runs ads. I don't know if you've seen them on TV. I see them all over social media. Etsy does a lot of the marketing to get people to shop there. So Etsy helps you to drive traffic. So you can drive traffic to your Etsy shop, and Etsy spends money to drive traffic to shop on Etsy. But if you're on your own website, you've got all the technology to learn, like HTML coding, and not to upload the pictures without compressing them. Excuse me, not to, you have to add alt tags. There's a lot of technology that's involved with a website. And honestly, when you're starting, it's overwhelming and it makes you want to pull your hair out and cry, because that's what I did. I started on my website and I was like, I don't know, I just can't. And Etsy just takes all that away from me. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to compress my photos when I upload them. I don't have to rename them. I just upload them to Etsy, and Etsy helps me with that. The only time I suggest people to open up their own website is if their family income is dependable on that Etsy shop. So let's say, for example, Jill, you get started and you're making enough money to quit a 9-to-5 job, or something like that, then you can start your own website. But by that point, you're usually making enough money that you can hire somebody else to do it. I have researched many clubs, and you're the first choice. I've taken the time to answer and explain so many important questions. Oh, I'm so glad, y'all, because I am really wanting you to be successful. I know some people here listening want to be in the club, and it's not a good time for them. And I understand that. We won't open it again till next year. So you've got that. You can join us then. But I still want to help you. I mean, I want to help you here. I want to help you with the tutorials that we do. Go to our website, southerncharmreads.com, and you can always learn from tutorials there. Okay. My goal is to help and serve. All right. Speaking of Facebook, do you have to go live to sell? No. It helps you with your Facebook page. If you want to grow your Facebook page, it helps. But you know what helps even more than a live right now is doing reels. So if you're doing a Facebook reel, which is a short video that's like 15 seconds, that helps your Facebook page the most. Now, I'm not saying that having a Facebook page is going to help you sell. If you don't if you don't do your Facebook page the right way, it won't help you at all, because I see a lot of makers, they just use Facebook as a billboard and they're not building a community with their brand on it. Facebook is all about social media and building a community. So you've got to serve, you've got to show up and serve. And what does that mean if you're a wreath seller? It means showing your viewers how to hang a wreath on their front door, how to hang a wreath over a garland, over a mantle, how to turn that wreath and make it a candle centerpiece, how to coordinate that teal color door with the wreath design. You're just going to show up and serve and answer questions. You can also ask them questions like, how's their day going? What's for dinner? Things like that. And when you do that, you're going to show pictures of your wreaths. And inevitably, somebody will say, where do you sell? Do you sell? Where can I buy? So even though I'm showing up on Facebook a lot of times and you'll see my wreaths, it's because I'm trying to build a community around my brand and I'm trying to serve you all. But all the time, I'll have somebody say, where can I buy this? They'll direct message me, where can I buy this? We send them the link to Etsy and it sells. So there's that. I'm mentoring somebody in our mastermind group, and she has a 6-figure Etsy shop and she doesn't have social media. You can just do it on Etsy. You don't need all the things. Now, it does help obviously drive traffic the more social media presence you have, but if you don't learn to do it the right way, it's just going to be a lot of wasted time. So make sure you're doing it the right way. Do it scared. Yes. What type of equipment do you need to do lives? Your phone. This right here. That's it. Your phone. You could put a light on you if you want, but I started my Facebook Lives, believe it or not, the first one, I didn't have a tripod. Oh, I don't have it in here. I used to have it. Yeah, I do right here. Here's another one. This is like a tabletop and it expands and then you can crank this and it goes up even further. And you just put your phone here, but that was purchased later. The first one I did, I took my phone and I took a hair dually, like what your kids put in their hair, or what we put in. They're not elastic, but they're made to put your hair in a bun. I put that around my phone and a bottle of wine. And that's my tripod. And I put it in front of the window. And that was my first live. So you don't need all the fancy equipment. You just need your phone. Elda, yeah, yes, you should get a discount. Maybe it's already there for you. I don't know if I keep hitting the board, but I keep losing my place for the questions. So it's if you bought it at the same time, you would have already gotten the discount. But always reach out to us, okay? Email us, and we'll help you. Let's see. Crafting is helping me so much. I have never had self-esteem. I am selling my wreaths. It's amazing to feel a little about yourself. Crafting is the perfect therapy. It really is. I completely agree. It helps me more than her monthly therapy. Oh my gosh. I love hearing that. Is it hard to set up an Etsy shop? No, we've got training for you guys in the Wreath of the Month Club portal. It takes 20 minutes to set up an Etsy shop. Now, does it take time to manage it and keep it going? There is some time involved, but it's time involved in everything that you want to do worthwhile. You worry about your taxes. How do you manage it? You keep all of your receipts. So we do offer that as well. I think that's in the business group, though. I can't remember if no. Let me write that down because that would be something good to include in our Wreath of the Month Club group. We are going to include the income expenses tracking. So let me suggest to you what I think is the best thing. Let's see if this is our calendar that we put out, our monthly planner. Okay, and then included with that is our income and expense tracker and income tracker. So we already have these that you could just print out. So for example, cost of goods sold would be one of the sheets. So what you would do is you would take this, and I give you all these examples of what's included as an expense. All right, hold on, let me get there. Turn to the page. Come on, Julie. Well, there's bank fees, cars and truck, contractors, subscriptions, which would be the Wreath of the Month Club group, equipment, supplies. All right, so let's do supplies, for example. All right. You would just take this paper and you would staple it on the outside of a manila envelope. And as you incur the expense, you write it down and then you put the receipt in that envelope. And then at the end of the year, you can tally up what your total is. And that way you already have these, and these are all categorized by what you input when you're filing your taxes. So they're going to ask you, did you have any car, rent and lease, or did you have any subscriptions, or did you have any utilities? Things like that, travel, all of it is based off of what you already use to fill out your taxes. And so That's how I keep it organized. Now we're doing it all online with QuickBooks. But when you're starting out, you don't need to buy, so many different apps and things. You can just literally print that out, put it on the envelope, a manila folder, and keep your receipts in your folder. And then by the end of the year, tax time, you've got everything organized and tallied. So if you're having a hard time getting traffic on Etsy, I suggest that you go to Pinterest. Pinterest is huge in driving traffic. Pinterest is a way for people to, how everybody Googles things. Pinterest is the Google of like home decor and things like that. So a lot of times people go to Pinterest to get an idea board ready. Let's say, for example, they're trying to plan for decorating for fall. So they would create a Pinterest board. I don't know how old you are, but when I was growing up, I graduated in the 80s. So we had like a board in my room. It was cork board, and I would put thumbtacks on like all the heartthrobs, and things like that, or anything that was inspiring to me. I would put it on the board. And that's generally what Pinterest is. It is like that. So people can create these boards based off of the topic that they're interested in. It could be holiday baking. It could be fall decorating, whatever it is. So you create Pinterest and you put your pins out there with keywords. People find them and they pin them. And it also drives traffic. So people will be able to click on that pin and it takes them right to your Etsy shop. How do you get paid when somebody buys on Etsy? So Etsy, when you get paid, Etsy will take out their fees that is owed, and then whatever is remaining of that sale is deposited into your checking account. They deposit it, I think a minimum of once a week. We get ours deposited once a month. So you can have it deposited whenever you want, but it typically is the first Tuesday of the week. There's only one Tuesday in the week. Ours is the first Tuesday of the month. I don't understand some of these questions. And it keeps jumping really fast. So I'm probably missing a lot. Some states charge tax for online sales. Oh, okay. So that's a good one. Etsy does that for you. Etsy collects and remits sales tax. If you're interested in joining the Wreath of the Month Club group, tomorrow's the last day, if that's what you want to do. You set up your banking info after the customer pays. Etsy deposits the money into. Okay, I think you guys are awesome. Y'all are helping answer some of these questions. Y'all, that's why I love this community. You guys rock. How do you prevent bows from sinking into the wreath and looking squishy? Very simple. Do not attach it so tight. Don't attach it so tight and let it just sit on the top. The business portion of this portal, do we get all of the business side? You don't get all of the business. Like we go into way more detail on the business group, but you do get some business. And obviously you can ask any questions and we're helping you with business. If you're in the Wreath of the Month Club group and you ask that, what keywords should I use for this wreath? Me and a ton of other people are there to help you. If we don't have a tax ID and just use Etsy, the taxes are figured for us. Etsy collects and remits sales tax, if that's your question. You're responsible for your own income reporting, income tax, okay? So if you sell a wreath, let's say you sell $200 worth of wreaths this year, you are responsible for telling the IRS that you made $200. So you're responsible for the income tax, but Etsy does collect and remit sales tax. Oh my gosh, you guys are getting into a lot of tax questions that I'm like, I am not a tax expert. I can only tell you what I've done. I'm going to say right now, go get somebody to help you with your taxes, because they are going to be, they'll get to know your business the best. They'll understand your family income and all of that, and they can give you the best advice. How do you make a business watermark for your photo? There are apps like I watermark, I think, and you just need to type out your name, and that's all you need. I honestly do not agree with putting watermarks on photos, though. I think it hurts. The only time I put watermarks on my photos is on Pinterest. Julie, can you use your own shipping on Etsy? Yes, you can. I don't ever buy Etsy shipping, ever. I only use my own. Rustic wire can be purchased on Amazon. What is your favorite part of Wreath of the Month Club? Ooh, wow. That's a good question. So I can tell you what one of my least favorite things is that everybody loves is the Wreath critique. Okay. And you guys go on my Facebook page. We posted a post today. Let me see your wreaths, because tomorrow I'm going to do a wreath critique public with you guys, like I would do in our Wreath of the Month Club group. And that means I look at your wreath and I give you advice and I break it apart, like break it down. And I hate that, because somebody took a lot of time and effort to make that wreath, and it makes me feel really weird, but they love it when I do that. So that's one of the things that I don't like doing, but everybody else loves it when I do. In fact, I tried not to do it one time, and everybody kept saying, we want it, we want it, we want it. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, we'll do it again. Yeah, so that's one of the things I don't enjoy. I don't know. That's a hard question. I think the one thing I most enjoy is picking out the designs. So picking out the kits so that we make them. I like doing that. And I also just love being on camera and teaching. My soul just gets lit up when I'm and somebody gets it. You know what I mean? And when somebody also comments back and say that, they were able to make a sale, or I'm helping them overcome an addiction. We had one lady who said that she's lost her husband, and this has been a really good distraction for her. I mean, things like that, just know it makes me feel good because I have a purpose. I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of work to run the group and manage the group, and I pay employees to help me. But getting in front of the camera and actually teaching is one thing that I love doing. Do you purchase your supplies wholesale? I do, but I didn't start that way. I started out at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. How much time do you spend? It's up to you how you want to run your business. I'm in there about 20 minutes a day. What is the best way to ship wreaths? Is it very costly? I think we've already gone through that. It's not costly. I mean, the buyer pays it. So the rope wreaths. Oh, Deb. Okay, we don't have that in there. That's one we don't have. I try to stick to floral wreaths instead of craft type wreaths. If I purchase the 3 to 6 month Wreath of the Month Club, can I come back and extend it if I love it? So when you purchase, it renews. All right, it renews. So if you purchase the $27 a month, next month on what's today, the 1st, September 1. So October 1, it will charge your card again. And November 1, it will charge your card again. You just cancel though at any time. So let's say, for example, you join it today, the 1st of September, and you cancel on February 1 of 2023. You could cancel any time, but anything that you have earned, in other words, if you cancel in the middle of the month, you still have access, right? So let's say you've charged on 1 month, you still have access to the end of the month. Will that live be available after tomorrow after work? Yes, it will. Did you ever do craft shows? No, Joy, I've not. I'm a lazy businesswoman. I try not to get out in the heat and talk to people. The critique is so helpful. It's like asking a teacher, what would you do differently in advice? Yes, right? It is. And it's so weird for me to do that because, I just know some people have really put a lot of time and effort into their designs. Y'all, I know I might have missed a question. If I did, I apologize. It kept jumping down as soon as it just kept jumping. I'm looking, I don't see anything that we might have talked on. Just don't be afraid, okay? Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid to take a chance on yourself. You deserve to have fun with your craft. You deserve to be able to make your home pretty, improve your own mood. I mean, that's how I got started. Like, it was all about me. I was like, I deserve to have a nice home to be proud of. I like coming home to something that looks good, right? My home looked pretty when I had a wreath on it. Now, the inside was a hot mess, but the outside looked good. It told the world, like, we have it going on. We know what we're doing here, even though we probably didn't on the inside. Don't open the door, but on the outside, it looked good. And I deserve that. That's how I got started. I didn't want to pay the price tag of somebody making a wreath for me. And so I started making my own. Neighbors wanted to buy for me, and I started selling. And it just started from there. Don't be afraid to start. You never know how the Lord's going to use you and impact other people's lives. If I had never started, I wouldn't be here trying to help you right now. Don't be afraid to start. Just do it. Do it scared. We're here to help you. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys. If you're joining the Wreath of the Month Club, we'll be there tonight making a wreath, and I can't wait to see you there. And then tomorrow, if you're going to join us here on Facebook, I'm going to be doing a wreath critique. Okay. Bye-bye.